Kings and happy Way segregation, which is there. Yes, thank you very much for your kind introduction, Dr. Esther Ojena, President of the Philippine Normal University, and to all our teachers, officers, staff, and students of PNU. It's my first time in this building, and it is a beautiful heritage structure. It is important that all of you who work here, who live here, who study here, appreciate the walls, the structure, the doors, the floors, because everything about it speaks of history. So now that everything is modern, everything is torn down, things are desecrated, it is important that you, the youth, the children, teenagers, the youth, understand the importance of heritage. Because every crevice in every wall speaks of something that happened here. Everything tells a story. So please make sure that since this is a declared heritage structure by the National Historical Commission or the National Museum, either of the two agencies, make sure that it is preserved as such. It doesn't mean we will allow electrical wirings to go haywire. We just maintain it, but the structure is beautiful. Second, I am very grateful to Sonia Mendoza, Freilan and Mercy, and the whole Mother Earth Foundation for inviting me here today. I am one with them in an advocacy to make sure our environment is clean, green, and healthy, to say the least. I actually have a long speech here. I will only read parts of it because my staff has prepared a PowerPoint presentation. But I'd like to speak from the heart because the advocacies of heritage preservation, because we are in a heritage structure, and environmental preservation, which is the essence of what Mother Earth is all about, which is the essence of what RA 9003 is all about, or the Ecological Solid Waste Management Law. Just to give you a background, ano ba itong RA 9003 at bakit ba ito sinagawa? I know I'm deviating from my PowerPoint, but let me just say that. I'm sure that the previous speakers have talked about this. To make a long story short, ako po ang principal author at sponsor ng RA 9003. Ang ibig sabihin po niyan, napanaginipan ko, sinulat ko, hiniring ko, na isabatas natin sa tulong at sa pagkontra ng iba't ibang tao noong January of 2001. Remember, it's January of 2015. How many years? 14 years. Sabi nga ni Sonia, dalagitan na. Ngayon, ang tanong po natin, ang bawat eskwela ba, universidad, state college, state university, pribadong eskwelahan, pinapatupad na ba ang ating dalagitang batas? Ang ating 1,600 cities and municipalities, pinapatupad na ba ang ating solid waste management law? Ang ating Kongreso, ang Senado, na nagbibigay ng pondo sa PNU at nagbibigay ng pondo sa DENR at sa mga LGUs, etc. At ang mababang kapuluan, ang House of Reps, nagpapatupad pa ng RA 9003. Isang malaking hamon na tayo ay magpatupad nito. Pero hindi naman dapat ginagawa ang mga batas at ito ay rekomendasyon lamang ng policy. In short, it was a friend of mine who said, why is it that in this country, laws are merely recommendatory for policy and laws are not strictly enforced? And that is the reason why we need you, the teachers of today and the teachers of the future, to implement all laws, especially laws on environment, which means preservation, conservation, protection, and laws on heritage. Because at the end of the day, heritage and environment embrace each other and are similar in nature. Much has been said about the resilience of the Filipino people to immediately rise up after every disaster. You've heard about Ondoy, Sendo, Pablo, Yolanda, Senyang, and many, many more. The threat of natural hazards and extreme weather events to the survival of our communities requires us to match this strong spirit with the ability to act fast, to act resolutely, not only after the disaster strike, but even in anticipation of natural hazards and extreme weather events. It is no longer the issue of how we're able to respond to calamities, but rather how we try to deter or to minimize the disaster from happening, especially now that the extreme weather events are called the new norm. In short, with the laws that we've enacted, it is important we just don't respond after a disaster strikes, and you know that, because the 20 or more typhoons a year represent what we call the new norm. And therefore, disaster risk reduction through disaster preparedness is most important. And one of the basic important elements of DRR is waste segregation. You will remember in 2009, if you were not too young, when Ondoy happened, there were forecasts of Ondoy coming. There were warnings, early warnings, but it suddenly caught a flooded Metro Manila flat-footed. Even middle-class homes, high-end homes, not only in urban settler areas, but many parts of Metro Manila, Region 4, Region 3, etc., were inundated or flooded. And many of the reasons were kasi ang mga estero ay na-reclaim na at ginawang bahay-bahay. Kasi ang mga kanal ay puno ng bote, lata at plastic. Kasi ang ating mga lawa at bai at ilog ay maraming plastic bag. Kasi ang ating daluyan ng tubig ay puno ng plastic. Why does this have to happen? If we only implemented RA 9003, which simply said and simply put institutionalizes the recycling of waste, meaning segregation of waste at source, recycling, and composting. Mother Earth Foundation, Sonia and company, have been very vigilant and passionate about this. I wish that their passion and their discipline could be viral. Just like ang kabataan, ang hilig-hilig mag-social media, isang scandal, viral na. Why can't we do solid waste management viral effect? Kung yung passion sa chismis, sa scandal, sa kung ano-anong mga minsan ay kalokohan sa social media, vina-viral. Why can't we do a 14-year-old law that has cost people the loss of lives, loss of livelihoods, na Ondoy, na Pepe, na Sendong, na Yolanda? Hindi ko sinasabi na pag tayo maghiwalay-hiwalay ng basura, gaya ng sample na siya dito, ay walang mamamatay. Ang sinasabi ko lang po ay mababawasan ang baha, mababawasan ang sakit, mababawasan ang kawalan ng buhay at kabuhayan kung pinapatupad natin ang paghihiwalay ng plastic bag at ng ating food waste at ng ating mga bote at ang ating mga lata. Just on the way here in Taft Avenue, I saw along the sidewalk old, recycled, used plastic bottles. Sinabi ko sa staff kong si Eleanor, syempre mo, yan ang gagawin natin. Nakahiga, which is nothing new, we've seen it everywhere, at binutasan, at merong kangkong. Ibig sabihin, nakatira ka man sa bahay, nakatira ka man sa isang shelter, nakatira ka man as an urban settler, whatever. Sabihin, wala kang garden, wala kang lugar. Ano ba naman, pag naubos mo ng isang Coke, ano tawag doon? Yung isang litro. I don't think soft drinks, I don't know. I only drink water. I only drink pandan juice mula sa tinatanim kong pandan. I only drink lemongrass o tanglad sa tinatanim ko. I only drink salabat sa tinatanim kong luya. So, hindi ko alam ang soft drinks. Okay, Coke litro. Binutasan nila, dinagyan, at may kangkong. Ibig sabihin, sa lahat ng mga urban
settlers or squatters as I call them, kung meron tayong tatlo, taglima na ganyan, hindi ba mas makakaganda at mas makakabuhay? Hindi walang gutom. Ako sa tapat na aking bahay ay meron akong malunggay. Maaring hindi masyado maganda ang lupa kung saan kami, dahil hindi siya bumubunga. Pero sabi kasi, nung aking kasambahay ay, ma'am, kaya hindi po tayo nakaka-harvest ng malunggay. Lahat po nung dumadaan sa bahay niyo, tuwing umaga ay hina-harvest na yung malunggay. Hindi bale na yun, basta napahinabangan. Kanina umaga, ang kinain ko rin malunggay at saluyot na merong ampalaya na aking tanim. Now, what am I saying? Whether you live in an upscale subdivision, or even in a condominium, or even in a housing project, or even if you are in a squatter shanty or urban settler, may mga pamamaraan para ginagamit ng muli ang ating lata, bote, plastic, at magkaroon ng urban gardening. Just the other day, isa pang environmental soulmate ko, gaya ni Sonia, ay si Attorney Oposa. Pinakita na niya sa akin yung kanyang rain garden, yung kanyang pampungan at yung kanyang kamote at kung saan nagtatanim lang na ng kinakain. Because life could be so simple if only we implement our laws and make use of wasted space. Now, back to my speech. What is more alarming is the fact that various statistics have identified the Philippines as among the world's most vulnerable to natural hazards. The Global Risk Index in 2015, just the other day, showed that among 160 countries, the Philippines is most affected by extreme weather conditions. What are these? Intense flooding. We've all experienced this. Extreme weather conditions like droughts, we will experience it again in March, April, and May. And fiercer typhoons, we have experienced that. Walang tigil ang bagyo, hindi yan huhupa, hindi yan mawawala, titindi pa, dadalas pa, lalakas pa. It will be more intense, it will be more frequent, it will be stronger. I stood on the Senate floor 15 years ago saying that. At the time, nobody cared, nobody listened, nobody really minded. Until Ondoy happened, until Pablo happened, until Hayan or Yolanda happened. However, hindi po tayo nagmamagaling. Importante lang ipatupad natin ang ating batas. Yun po ang aking simpleng mensahe. Now back to this. The Philippines, being an archipelagic state located in the western edge of the Pacific Ocean and directly within the ring of fire, faces the constant threat of typhoons, of droughts, of earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions. But factors such as the lack of protection from natural hazards, weak urban planning, a growing urban poor population, vulnerable rural livelihoods, and a degraded ecosystem have made us more vulnerable to disasters and climate change. Now, you will ask, do we have the policies to combat all these? And my answer to you is a resounding yes. We have the Clean Air Act of 1999. We have the Solid Waste Management Act of 2001. We have the Climate Change Law of 2009. We have the National Disaster Risk Reduction Management Law of 2010. And we have the Clean Water Act of 2003, and many, many more. I will not belabor the point of all these laws. The reason for our meeting or congregation here today is, let us all go for zero waste. What is a solid waste management law? I will not read it to you because you know it by heart. It has been talked about this morning. It will be discussed this afternoon as well. It is just important that all of us know the law exists. All of us know how to segregate garbage at source, recycle, and compost. Imagine if each and every mayor in each of the 1,600 cities and municipalities, in each and every president of every state university and college, if every barangay captain of each and every 42,000 barangays, if every purok leader in every barangay would mind their backyard, then we would have a healthier, prettier, greener, more sustainable environment in every place if every home would do that. And I must admit, hindi madali dahil ang pagdisiplina lang sa tao ay hindi madali. Dahil ang kinagisnan natin ay basura, tapon. Ang kinagisnan natin, wastage at sayang. Pero ito, start at home. By avoiding buying unnecessary goods, all of us live in a consumptive society. We all plead guilty, including myself. But I have had this paradigm shift. Ibang-iba ako mula nung 10 years ago, mula nung aking kabataan. In fact, tanong mo sa mga staff ko, sobrang ang aking paggamit ng recycled materials. For example, gumawa ako ng chandelier. Alam nyo, gawa sa gin bottles na ininom ng aking mga kaibigang Ifugao na iniwan sa aking maliit na farm na binana ko sa lola ko. Iniwan nila yung gin bottles, nakakala. Yung aking caretaker, tinapon sa EcoShed, tama naman, tinapon sa bote. Ang ganda ng bote. Gagawin ko yan na chandelier. Ang ganda-ganda ng aking chandelier gawa sa bote. Pangalawa, ang aking anak, negosyante, entrepreneur. He builds commercial rooftops sa solar panel. Nakita ko sa kanyang bodega, may mga containers na paluchina, paleta ng solar panel. Sabi ko, nakakagulo sa garden kung saan yung bodega. Ay, itatapon na po, malapit na po. Bakit itatapon? Akin na lang. So yung nanay ng negosyante kong anak na entrepreneur, kinuha at yun ang ginawa kong wall ng aking maliit na bahay pahingahan. Ngayon, pangatlo, kailangan daw bumili ng mga pinto. Sabi ko, walang bibili ng pinto. Kumanap ako ng mga lumang kapis, parang yung dito, at yun ang ginawa kong pinto at lumang kahoy na pinagtagpi-tagpi. Tapos, gagawa kami ng EcoShed. Ang sabi sa akin ng aking staff, Ma'am, pahingi po ng 3,000 piso dahil bibili po tayo ng kahoy at ng bubong. Sabi ko, bakit? Ang daming kahoy, kakabagyo lang. Ay, hindi po pwede yan. Kailangan po bagong kahoy. Anong batas na nagsabi na kailangan bago ang kahoy? Sabi ko, walang 3,000 piso, pero bukas, bibisitahin ko ay may EcoShed at bibisita na si Sonia Mendoza. Lagot kayo, mas mataray pa yan sa akin. So, in 24 hours, nakagawa ng EcoShed na walang 3,000 piso at ayon lang sa available materials at kaalaman. Ang ibig kong sabihin, masyado tayo, ang ating kultura, palagi ay sayang. Puro na lang waste. Puro bili. Because our culture is consumptive. Because of advertising, because of who we are. Ganun lang eh. Kaya importante, repair and recycle. In fact, nakita ko sa bodega ng lumang, sabi nila, sira na Xerox machine ba yun? Or I don't know, it's like a Xerox machine. I'm still thinking whether I would sell it to a junk shop or make it paan ng table because my creative juices is still working because everything to me may silbi. Second, we should of course practice waste segregation at source and compost biodegradable waste. And yes, Sonia taught me how to implement my law. Whereas before, I used to buy organic fertilizer and would spend maybe, I don't know, 800, 1,000 a month. Ngayon, yung aming food waste na hinungkal namin na lupa, yun na ang aming ginagamit na food waste na organic compost. At si Sonia, ako man ang sumulat ng batas, ako man ang defend ng aking solid waste management law, but the operationalization and implementation in household, Sonia teaches me. Now, urge barangay leaders to implement the law. Sonia and I know about that. We have talked to certain barangay leaders, one in Malabon, where I am from, Barangay Potrero, where I was born, and I hope you will be successful. Good luck. Because it's not easy to change the culture of people. And we adopted Barangay Nyogan in Tagaytay and Barangay Sikat in Alfonso, Cavite. But you've had very successful initiatives in San Fernando City and many others. So it is important that we influence barangay leaders to implement the law so that they will set up their own MRF, nothing fancy, nothing grand, nothing shimmery, or nothing new. And importante na magkaroon ng community level ecology centers. And all of these strengthened initiatives towards environment protection, growing trees, maintaining forest parks. Since the 1990s, I have been encouraging the growing of trees in every space available. And I would call it at the time until now, Luntiang Pilipinas Forest Parks. It could be big spaces, it could be pockets of forest, because these are what we call the lungs of the city. It could be forest trees, it could be any urban greening, it could be fruit trees, it could be malunggay trees, it could be anything at all. So we should also use clean and alternative fuel. No more fossil fuel, because we can use wind, we can use water, hydro, we can use solar, etc. And using environment-friendly modes of transportation, that we still have to do, because while we want to walk and we want to cycle, when you walk, bad fumes, and when you cycle, binubundol at sinasagasaan. So that's another project that we're doing with Attorney Posa, yung tinatawag namin bayanihan sa daan, kung saan magkakaroon ng pedestrian lane at cycling lane ang ating mga major thoroughfares. So we still have another slide. The next slide. So what is my message today? You, future and present teachers, we must encourage the youth to participate on initiatives towards environment protection. This is the work I've been doing for more than 20 years, 30 years. 20 years as a journalist, 15 years as a senator. It's been my life, just like it's been Sonia's life, Froilan's life, Mercy's life. We're very passionate about it. And while we may not be totally successful, because we cannot control the mind and the character and the discipline of everyone, we need lieutenants like you. We need foot soldiers, we need converts, we need advocates, we need crusaders and warriors such as you. So I therefore enjoin the Philippine Normal University to be at the center of our efforts towards the full compliance of our environmental laws. PNU, since you train our teachers, and these teachers will train and educate the youth of our country and our students, let PNU be our partner, not just for today, because you are the venue of this convergence conference. No, let PNU, Manila, Visayas, and all your other campuses integrate not only solid waste management, but climate change action plans, national and local, but also monitoring our rivers and our bays in the respective areas. Let PNU be the educator to educate the youth of our country on environmental laws, so that PNU, the youth of our country, and us in the Senate, and Sonia in the private sector, will go hand in hand in seeking and seeing the full implementation of Clean Air Act, Clean Water Act, Solid Waste Management Law, Climate Change Act, Renewable Energy Law, National Disaster Risk Reduction Management Law, and many others. And yours truly, I have been the author of all these laws. So I don't want to say at the end of my third and last term, which is now, till 2019, that I failed as a senator, because the youth of our country don't want to implement my laws. So that's a reason why I am so vigilant. Call it strict, call it mataray, call it with Chevrolet. But Sonia and I, and all of you, should be as strict with ourselves, with our homes, with our barangays. And let elections in the future be based on environmental compliance. And I can say this because I no longer will run for any office, higher or elected, because it's my last term till 2019. When you vote in 2016 for any official, local or national, ask him or her, did you segregate garbage and waste at source, recycle and compost? Do you monitor your rivers and make sure it's clean? Do you know what climate change is all about? And do you do DRR initiatives in your barangay? Ask the mayor. ask a barangay captain, ask your senators, ask your congressmen, ask higher officials. If they are ignorant of the environment, I don't think there's any reason or any reason that they should serve. So all I'm asking is, we need you as our partners, and let this zero waste convergence be the spark so that in the new year and beyond, we can all make sure that the environmental laws that we have in our country will actually see fruition and be implemented in full. I speak too long, and I still have a long speech. I can just give you a copy of my speech because it is very long. Can you show the other pictures? Okay, we have that already. They know that already. Oh, you know that already. Clean Air Act, I mentioned that, and the others. I mentioned that. Okay, I just want to show. Yeah, the new norm. Fine. Okay, what does resilience means? Resilience actually means being able to bounce back, being able to adapt. So, next slide please. Parang yan, tapos na. Okay, so tinan mo, maski hindi ko binabasa ang speech, sa ulat ko naman yung speech. So, I close my message today with thanks and in celebration. Thank you for listening, for your patience. Thank you for having it in your heart to be an environmentalist. And we are celebrating, actually, the laws that we have. We are celebrating our awareness and our vigilance. We are celebrating the new year with the thought, the mindful thought, that we will be better environmental crusaders and better stewards of nature. And let it be said that during our watch, as leaders of our country, as leaders of the academy, as leaders in our own right, that we made our